Welcome back to Mac School Prep TV. In today's video, we're going to be debriefing the scholarship application process, as I think we can both agree it doesn't matter how many great colleges and universities you get admitted into if you don't have a means to pay for your education. Now, if you do not know, my name is Mackenzie Warren. I'm the founder of Mac School Prep, and my goal, video by video, is to give you the step-by-step blueprint for how to take advantage of your education and excel in an academic setting. Before we go ahead and jump right into the content, which I am sure you are ready to do, I just want to give you a friendly reminder now to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a beat. And on that note, no more delay, it's time, let's get it. Alrighty, to get this video kicked into gear, I'd like to start off macro by explaining the difference between public colleges and private colleges. While public colleges, also known as state schools, are funded by tuition payments, they're primarily funded by state governments, hence the reason that they typically offer reduced tuition to in-state students. Some examples of these schools include the University of Texas at Austin, Texas A&M, Texas State University, and the University of Houston. Private colleges, on the other hand, are not government funded and mainly rely on endowments and donations as sources of funding. For this reason, tuition is typically higher for students in comparison to that of public colleges. However, even with that said, private institutions usually have more financial aid access and are able to award more scholarships than public institutions. And some examples of private universities include Stanford, Duke, and the Ivy Leagues. Since I brought up financial aid, I'd now like to switch gears a bit to touch on that topic. And of course, when speaking of financial aid, it's extremely common to hear about the Fafsa form and the CSS profile, which I made sure to include links to in the description below. Like its name suggests, the Fafsa, which stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid, is the key to federal student aid. And basically what this means is that the Fafsa is the form that all financial aid seeking students, no matter if they're aspiring to go to a public university or a private university, must fill out. And just so you know, students are not required to apply for financial aid if they don't want to. To give you a bit of context here, Federal Student Aid is an office of the U.S. Department of Education that specializes in giving financial assistance to students in the form of grants like Pell Grants, loans could be subsidized or unsubsidized, and also work-study funds. Putting things in the most simple way possible, the FAFSA runs various records of money earned through a formula designed to determine a student's need for financial aid. And the formula goes a little something like this. Students' need for financial aid equals total cost of attendance minus expected family contribution. And just so you know, expected family contribution basically just gives insight into a family's ability to cover college costs. Moving things right along, the FAFSA opens every year on October 1st for the following school year, meaning that high school seniors can begin filling out the form and submitting it as early as that date. In all honesty, the FAFSA should be filed ASAP because doing so will put you in line for aid that's offered on a first-come, first-served basis due to limited funds. Similarly, colleges and universities prefer that undergraduate applicants submit their FAFSA application as early as possible, and deadlines are specified on the individual school's financial aid website. Anyways, the reason that colleges and universities don't want undergraduate applicants waiting until the last minute to file their FAFSA application is because these institutions like to be able to put together financial aid packages for students to review at the same time they receive a positive admission decision. Private universities evaluate the FAFSA data along with other enrollment materials like the CSS financial profile in order to create a financial aid award package that outlines federal student aid, institutional aid, and loans. Standing for the College Scholarship Service Profile and created by the College Board, the CSS form is only for private, non-federal aid, which basically just means that for the most part, only private institutions accept the application. Unlike the FAFSA, completing the CSS profile unfortunately isn't free, but you might qualify for a waived fee if you come from a low-income household. I also want to throw it out there that the CSS profile asks for more information than the FAFSA, which allows colleges to have a more in-depth view of you and your family's expenses and finances. Now, similarly to the FAFSA, the CSS profile becomes available to students every year on October 1st in the deadline for the form can be found on the individual financial aid website of each college and university that you're applying to. Alrighty, with all of that said, let's go ahead and jump right into the scholarship talk. And basically, the bottom line is that there are scholarships out there for literally everyone. There are scholarships focusing on merit, athletics, minorities, and or community service. There are scholarships by school year, so for high school juniors, high school seniors, for students in college. There are ethnicity scholarships for those who identify as Jewish, Mexican, Chinese, etc. There are scholarships for honor students, which target National Honor Society members, valedictorians, salutatorians, or students with a certain GPA. There are scholarships by race that might be meant for African Americans, Hispanics, Asians. There are scholarships for students in unique situations, meaning that the applicant pool might be for women interested in STEM, for adopted students, or even for students from a single parent household. If you can't tell by now, the list of scholarship types could go on forever, so hopefully you get the point already. Now, a wonderful resource I have for you is called FastWeb's Scholarship Directory, and this great tool allows for you to search for scholarships by all sorts of categories and also encourages you to create a student profile so that you can get notifications about scholarship opportunities that you specifically qualify for. And of course, I made sure to put some supplemental links regarding FastWeb in the description below, so be sure to check those out if you're interested. Another awesome resource that I want to share is called the Ultimate Scholarship Book, which you can purchase on Amazon and get shipped right to your house. And basically, this book is a directory of more scholarship listings than you probably want to think about. And so with that said, it honestly be in your best interest to invest in this resource so that you do not have to spend as much time researching scholarship opportunities on the internet. Now, before we transition to our next point of discussion, I want to briefly bring up something that you may or may not already know. And so, in short, there are such things as small award scholarships and large award scholarships. Obviously, applying for both takes a lot of hard work, time, and energy, but I want you to keep in mind that you might have more success with racking up the smaller award scholarships over a period of time just due to less competition. Now, before we wrap up this video, I'd like to spend some time dissecting the scholarship application process and providing you with a general overview of what you can expect. Step 1, review the scholarship eligibility requirements, which can be found on the scholarship organization's website so that you can see if you're allowed to apply based on criteria such as minimum GPA, race identification, high school graduating class, etc., etc., etc. That way you don't waste your time filling out the application for an opportunity you don't even have a chance of receiving. Step 2, complete a profile in which you provide general autobiographical information so that scholarship organizations have an idea of who you are and whether you cut the mustard on a superficial level. During this phase of the application process, you should anticipate having to give things like your name, address, current high school, GPA, standardized test scores on AP exams and the SAT or ACT, colleges and universities you're interested in or have been accepted to, intended field of study, the professional career you're most likely to pursue, and maybe even your family's income. It's also pretty common for you to be asked to list your school and community extracurriculars, your school affiliated and community-wide service activities, your jobs and or internships, and any awards, honors, scholarships, publications, or special recognitions that you have previously received. Step 3 is write essays, could be short, long, or a combination of both, in response to prompts meant to engender fun and witty answers, and in response to prompts that cover more serious themes pertaining to topics like leadership, community service, your extracurricular involvement, your failures and how you've grown, your achievements and accomplishments, your goals and aspirations, how you've leveraged your strengths to be a catalyst for positive change and to make a positive impact, your passions, including educational and professional interests, etc., etc., etc. What I'm about to say now might ring a bell, but just like with the college application process, the essays you write during the scholarship application process are meant to help the scholarship organizations better understand who you are as a person and to discern whether you're an applicant who embodies the ideal recipient of the scholarship award. What this means is that you obviously need to be willing to put in the hard work required to produce thoughtful responses And you also need to spend a good amount of time researching the type of student the scholarship organization is looking to give money to. That way you can craft your essays appropriately by borrowing buzz terms and phrases from the scholarship's website, and by also writing about subjects that enable you to showcase how you possess the characteristics and the qualities that the scholarship organization values. A final thing I want to add here is that the same essay tips I mentioned in the MSP videos I posted titled Mastering College App Essays are applicable in this situation. So go check those out for a refresher on how to write strong essays that will help you advance in the selection process for both colleges and scholarships alike. Step 4 is submit letters of recommendation. And my advice here is, if possible, have the same individuals that write letters of recommendation for your college applications to write letters of rec for your scholarship apps as well. Now, if you want to hear more of what I have to say about letters of rec, the good news is that I have another video on my channel completely dedicated to that topic, and I made sure to include its link in the description below, so go check it out if you're interested. Step 5 of the scholarship application process is turn in an unofficial or official version of your high school transcript, especially for merit scholarships that are looking to reward applicants who place a premium on academic excellence. Grades and GPA are super duper important factors that are used to identify the cream of the crop, or in other words, the best of the best. Alrighty, time for step number 6, and that is pay attention to the scholarship submission deadline and timeline. Regardless of whether you're submitting your application materials online or by mail, you do not want to wait until the last minute when things are more likely to go wrong. Plus, getting your information submitted well in advance not only enables you to show how badly you covet the scholarship award, but it also ensures that you have some skin in the game, especially when it comes to those scholarship programs that limit the number of applications they accept, even if that quota is reached before the application deadline. Now, when I say stay on top of the scholarship timeline, the reason I advise that is so you have an idea of when you'll be notified of whether you've advanced in the selection process. And you also want to be aware of the succeeding rounds in the selection process, in which interviews and other tactics might be used to continually weed people out until the finalists are eventually chosen. Last but not least, baby, step number 7, and that is brace yourself and be prepared for rejection. At the end of the day, you win some, you lose some. However, the most important thing is that when you're told no, you keep your head up and don't let rejection define you or kill your spirit. Speaking from experience, I completely understand that my advice here is easier said than executed. But you have to remember to keep putting yourself out there, because if you think about it, the only way to catch a fish is if your line and some bait is in the water. And on that note, we have officially brought this video entirely dedicated to the scholarship application process to a close, and I'm hoping that after all of this information and content, you are feeling so much more confident and comfortable about applying for scholarships. Now, before you go, I just want to give you a friendly reminder now to give this video a thumbs up if you didn't do it at the beginning, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so that you can stay in the loop with everything that I have to offer. And I will be sure to see you very soon. Alrighty, bye!